Starbucks apologizes after baristas refused to serve 2 police officers in an Arizona Starbucks store.
Here we go.
Here, once again, here it goes, right? Well, here is Rob Ferraro, the president of the Tempe, Arizona Officers Association, talking about this very issue. Here he is.
Very politely and very nervously ultimately asked and said that there was a customer inside the establishment that was felt unsafe. It was an upsetting for them, clearly being asked to leave because you're simply wearing a police uniform.
They felt unsafe, gentlemen. They being the workers at Starbucks asked the police officers to leave. The employees at Starbucks ultimately asked because there were other customers that were there who asked the workers at Starbucks to ask the police officers to leave. I know it's a long explanation, but it's true. And so Starbucks, instead of saying, they're customers too, they said, oh, sorry, you have to leave because they feel unsafe. Okay, I'm sorry. This is a uniquely millennial thing.
Yeah.
This happened on the 4th of July, too, just to point that out.
Yes.
This is a uniquely millennial thing, I would say.
I want to know who was that felt uncomfortable.
I think
what their age was.
I've tempered my initial frustration and anger, saying oh my gosh, this is how could Starbucks do this? I've got law enforcement in my family, so obviously it goes to but I think this goes to a much bigger point, something we've discussed before, and this goes to the cancel culture that Ryan O'Ryan has brought up before. And I was reading through some of the Facebook comments on our Facebook page, and there was a woman named Barbara O who shared a post from a police officer. She says he's on the popular show Live PD. And and his take on it, I thought was interesting and kind of made me rethink. And basically, his name was James C. And he said, let's not let one employee tarnish a company's reputation like Starbucks, just like one bad cop should not tarnish the opinion people have for the rest of us. And I mean, honestly, it's a good point. It's
critical thinking.
It's that's what the cancel culture has done, and it goes both ways from both sides, right? So you got the liberals who will attack, conservatives and say, you make one comment or whatever it is, and they go at you, or
they take a false
Kevin
story.
Hart, a comedian, right? Kevin Hart, and they pull a tweet out from years ago, and they go and try and ruin your career. This is the same thing where people are like, wow, an employee made a poor decision. The company didn't have the chance to make a say on this. An employee made a very poor decision. I think we all agree to say, they're accustomed, these police officers who are protecting people and putting their lives on the line, they asked them to leave because someone felt uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's we shouldn't be holding all of Starbucks accountable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to unpack that, I say, hey, Dunkin' Donuts, great time to capitalize on this.
Policemen are welcome,
Hey,
reminds me of The Simpsons when they have the cops that are always drinking coffee and eating the free donuts.
Hey, we may be cementing the stereotype that cops love donuts and coffee, but just saying, Dunkin', there's your opportunity there.
Absolutely.
Capitalize.
And as you guys remember, in Philadelphia last year, a Starbucks asked 2 African-American men to leave because they weren't buying anything, and the entire chain shut down for employee sensitivity training. And so here's my thought, and I'm taking this from someone who posted on Facebook. They said on our Facebook page for Mark and Millennials, perhaps there should be an employee sensitivity training concerning civics education and the importance of police officers in our society. Wouldn't be so awful for Starbucks to have that kind of employee education as well. Don't you guys agree?
They should treat every customer and people that use Starbucks as a lounge. Starbucks, I felt, is a lounge. Anyone should go in there and be treated with respect. And if they are going to shut down for that, they should shut down for cop training, basically.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe they need to be teaching that in schools. Maybe maybe they should be telling people that you don't need to fear. I mean, these types of officers and law enforcement, and there should be some sort of relationship building through school.
And Fuji knows this because he has family that of course are in public safety. And so we won't call them out, but we'll say this. Who's the first people that the folks at Starbucks are going to call if there's some sort of crime that's occurring inside their store? It's the police officers. So, I mean, how stupid are these people?
And a good summation of all this is, honestly, there's a hard rock band called Papa Roach. Going a little random here. They have a song called American Dreams. It is actually a really awesome song that actually
You're going to sing it for us?
No.
That could be a squirrel moment, I'm just saying.
It could be. But honestly, it's a very powerful and poignant song about, support the blue and everything like that, and just, good American values and staying true to who you are. And that kind of reflects this whole Starbucks issue.